It's what you're hearing. What you're hearing right now is Top of the League podcast. God, I'm pumped up. It's a good episode, Gator, and you got a bit of DMX coming in. That's brought to us by Derek Neubauer. Derek, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
That's a great song. That could be the best intro we've ever heard. Yeah. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah.
We've had other guests. We had Beyonce. We had...
Other people
that was Scout. Yeah, some other people. But I know who DMX is. Oh, God, that's
yeah,
good.
I like that song. That's the first
God, that will get you pumped
That's
up.
the first one I'd heard before.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, anyway, Derek, thank you ever so much for being in the Top of the League podcast studio. How are you?
Excellent. I'm full. I'm drinking. Everything's great.
And what are you drinking, just for the advertising reasons?
I believe it's Miller High Life.
It is indeed, yeah. And would you describe that as the champagne of beer?
It goes down unbelievably.
It does. Goes down well, doesn't it, indeed? Gator's reaching for one now. Gator, how are you?
I'm feeling good, man.
Good.
This was probably gonna be our most, accomplished rugby player, but we had Scout the week before.
That's true.
So, Derek, you are currently a Forge D2 player.
Correct.
Prop.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. And obviously you had a disappointing weekend. This is coming in off the playoff defeat, unfortunately, up in Chicago against Wisconsin.
Right.
Yeah. How did that game go for you guys?
We dug ourselves a pretty good hole in the beginning, gave up a few quick tries. There was a pretty good prevailing wind that we were playing into to start.
Okay.
So I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think we were down 12-0 probably 10 minutes in. So we didn't want to kick out of our own end because, you kick right into the wind. What's the point?
Bringing it back into you.
So we tried to run it out. We had a couple knock-ons. They had a couple scrums, and they capitalized on it. And then probably about 10, 15 minutes in, we finally woke up, started making some runs, breaking gain lines, making it halfway, started challenging them. We got down there. We had a penalty kick. Then... eventually, we got down there again. It was 12-3. Got back down there again. There was they got a yellow card. We kicked another 3 there, and then just kind of worked away. Scored a try at the end of the half to bring it within 4. I think it was 17-14.
Yeah.
And then we were hoping in the second half that we had the wind. That was going to help out a lot.
Yeah, worked your advantage, yeah.
Yeah, but the second half just kind of turned into, somebody would have possession, drive the whole way down, score. And unfortunately for us, with about 4 minutes left, they got their own kickoff, kind of just marched their way, picked the ball down. And then they scored, and we had about 3 minutes, and all they did was just pick and go.
Sure.
And
trying to kill the clock almost.
Yeah, and, I would do it too as a coach. But, it's the old pick up the ball and everybody following the guy carrying the ball so nobody can take it. You can't counter-ruck it. You can't do any of that. Yeah. So, unfortunately, that's the way the game is. So they did it by the rules.
Yeah.
And so they end up winning by 2 points.
Yeah. I did try watching it. Obviously, Forge, they're great with the technology, good camera setup and whatnot. Someone was trying to live stream it on Facebook. I was trying to watch it, but it's so hard, it's obviously being broadcast from someone's phone, and it was like, I can kind of see that's a Forge player running with the ball, but obviously, once again, hard to see if there's a ruck going on, what's happening. Obviously, we were all rooting for the Forge, weren't we, Gator?
No, I was. Obviously you're Ravels, and I talk shit, but I was rooting for you guys.
Yeah. Well, the unfortunate thing is, if you go out to that complex, it's like Founders Field on steroids.
Out in Chicago?
Yeah, they literally have a working bar in the clubhouse.
Okay.
So you can literally buy drinks, run tabs, stuff like that. Yeah. They probably sacrifice their locker rooms, but they have open general bathrooms, a concession stand even. But they don't have Wi-Fi. Like put a Wi-Fi extender, or at least you yourself. Yeah. That was the one thing that and then even. The D1 game after us, right? They say they have lights. Well, it's probably like lights that we all practice at. Yeah. Sure. Where, there's a light in this corner and a light in that corner, and there's these black spots. So that was kind of unfortunate. I mean, the place is great, feels beautiful, but there's just those little things that they're kind of missing.
Threw it all off, It was close to being first class, but unfortunately things that they really needed. Right. Yeah.
Did they provide, tents for you guys or actual benches? Because I know a lot
No, they didn't have. They kind of, like I said, it's kind of like a Founders Field setup. The field we were on has a permanent chain link fence. Instead of the ropes we use, they had some kind of bleachers which were fine. But now, no benches, no water. Like I said, the field was great. Everything was fine. And then you pull your van in there. We're supposed to play at 2:00, so there's 2 games going on they charge you $10 to park there.
Oh, Jesus.
They did this to us before, a couple years before.
Yeah.
So that really kind of pissed us off.
Yeah, that sets you off on the wrong foot, really, doesn't it?
And then we get there, we have 2 vans with almost our entire team. Mm-hmm. They say parking's full. So we save $10-$20, but somebody had to take the van a half a mile down the road and then get a shuttle. It's like, well, why don't you know who's coming?
Yeah.
Ask us what kind of vehicles. And it's just little things like that.
Little things like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, was this a neutral ground?
Yes.
It was, because I'm thinking to myself, that is some great mental warfare to get in the head of the opposition.
Well, they were in the Division 4 Midwest Championship, which is as far as the Division 4.
But it wasn't like you were playing the home team.
No, we weren't.
So obviously that's disappointing, Derek. It was a great season for you.
Yeah.
Like we spoke, obviously, when the Forge was developed, this is what you're hoping for, right? Yeah. As a D2 player for Pitt City, what you were hoping for is, let's be champions of D2, let's go off in playoffs.
Yeah.
So kind of goal achieved. You would have loved to have taken that next step.
Right.
Unfortunately, that hasn't happened.
Right.
Now, Derek, I'm going to go into your history in a little bit, but you've been playing with Pitt City since 2009, and then obviously that Pitt City team became the Forge.
Right.
When you were with Pitt City, had you reached achievements of this level?
Yeah, so in 2013... and I might have the year wrong, but nobody...
Yeah, no one's fact-checking on this podcast.
There isn't anybody old enough to go back there. Anyway. Actually, there's 2 guys on the team. Austin, who I think you guys call Gray Fox or Gray Hawk.
Yeah.
Or Silver Fox, yeah.
He's a handsome looking
so I'll give him a shout-out on the pod here.
Yeah.
And Princess, who you probably have played against once or twice, Tim Bugatti. We were both on the team in 2013. We were actually Midwest runners-up, which we are now.
Okay.
But back then, it was good for us in that 2 teams from the Midwest got to go to the round of 16.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we ended up we beat the Cleveland Rovers,
right?
Who were actually Division II that year. Then the next day we had to play Wisconsin on the same field we just played them on.
Okay.
And we lost to them. They were a much better team back then.
Yeah.
But we got to go to Virginia Beach, and we played Wilmington, the eventual D2 national champions, who beat Wisconsin. We lost to them 9-8 in Virginia Beach in the first round of the round of 16. So that was back in the day when Fox Sports existed, which is Root Sports or whatever now.
Yep.
And that game just happened. I believe it was on, and we were at Ruggers, and we're watching this fucking game.
Yeah.
With these this team we should have beat.
Yeah.
We lost by 1. And then this other team that, we were hanging in there the whole time with. And here they are playing against each other in Glendale. For the
on national TV.
On national television, yeah.
Fuck. So this was, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, so that was the furthest I ever went. This was only the second time I was ever in the Midwest Championship. It seems every year and you guys know with dealing with D3, every year they change the thing. They blow it up every year. You never know. Because last year we were the 4th seed in Division 2 in the entire Midwest. And we had to drive the whole way to Madison, Wisconsin to play the same guys.
Yeah, I think Bill talked about that. Right. It was like a kind of, you were the wild card or whatever, so it was kind of like last minute, all of a sudden we're driving and obviously people were like, I can't really go to Wisconsin.
Exactly. And it was like we had no idea in the day of the game. We're trying to say, who can do this?
Yeah.
I mean, we're used to traveling, like I know you guys have mentioned on here, 7-8 hours, but you start putting 11, 12 hours in there, that's everybody's taking Friday off.
Yeah. You have to.
And then if you drive back Saturday night, you're still not getting back till daybreak Sunday morning.
Sure. Yeah.
So that was kind of hard. We didn't bring our best team just because we weren't
prepared almost.
It ended up being 32 degrees or something and ice on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, Madison, Wisconsin, the first week in November. What do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, Derek, you're 38 now.
Yeah.
And you've had a long career. You're touching base there, and good achievements as of now are as good as they were in 2013. So you've been playing at a good level of rugby.
Yeah.
How did you get into rugby to begin with?
So I went to Slippery Rock. And my original plan was to play rugby because I always heard it was like football.
So in high school, had you played football?
High school was football, and I could have went and paid $40,000 a year to play Division III football.
Okay.
That didn't make much sense to me.
Sure.
So I lived 20 minutes from Slippery Rock and knew it would be cheap. And I was hoping I wouldn't have any student loans.
Sure.
I was very smart when I
started. Good for you, Derek. Yeah.
So I went up there, and anybody that's been to Slippery Rock knows there's a field, an old school looking field that has a track around it. And I always thought that was the rugby field, and I heard rumors about kegs being on the sideline. And, people running naked that close to the police station. So
that appealed to you?
Yeah, it appealed to me.
Good. That's the type of person Derek is.
Any prop at least, but especially any forward's going to be excited about those things. Naked men and kegs next to the field.
Exactly, yeah.
But then eventually I pledged a frat. I hated that because I thought I would get my drinking fix there, I wasn't getting any athletic fix. So I quit that, and then I joined rugby.
And were you paying to be part of a frat?
Oh, yeah. Luckily, I didn't pay for it.
Okay.
I just did the pledge stuff.
Okay.
And finally,
so you got in early. If you were to commit, that's when you would have had to have paid? Yeah.
Yes.
Because now Gator was in a frat.
Oh, yeah.
And just coming from Ireland, I think this frat world is mental. Yeah. Absolutely mental. Don't quite understand it, but... That's for another podcast.
It was weird. It was like, here's a semester full of punishment for 3.5 years of the best times of your life. And then you'll hate everybody else for the rest of your life. Yeah. Because I have some friends that stayed in that same frat, and I always ask them when I see them now, I'm like, do you talk to this guy? I'm like, no, I haven't talked to them in a year.
Right.
But if you ask me if I talk to any of my
your
rugby
boys,
friends,
that's the real fraternity. Yeah,
right.
We've often spoke about that, like the friendships. Obviously, I wouldn't know you, Derek, outside of the rugby world. I wouldn't know kind of Gator, podcast co-host, if it wasn't for rugby. You know what I mean? It's like there is definitely a fraternity, and it does seem to be in America in particular. It's like a niche audience, almost. Like you were saying, it really appealed to me. I can drink and I can run around naked. A lot of people would be really turned off by them things you've stated. But.
Well, and that's kind of a thing that I think rugby as a game is going to run into here. It's already running into it. I read an article probably once a month that says we need to get drinking out of the game and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, would guys like us be playing if we couldn't go to the bar after the game Saturday? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, you have a family. You probably want to get home to them. You might not want to.
I personally don't.
But there's a lot of guys that we have that they have kids, and once that starts to happen, the drinking part of it stops. So be it. But you still get that hour and a half of beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
But it was a thing that attracted me to it.
Right. And like Bill Marnell, current president of Pittsburgh Forge, was kind of talking about how I think there's trying to make it that there's more of a, I forget his term, but more of a civilized, a more sophisticated club will survive, whereas the unsophisticated clubs will kind of go down, is kind of what he was thinking. And I almost think if you are trying to cut out the drinking and all that, you are somewhat cutting your nose off to spite your face. You're going to lose a lot of we have a lot of people who, if they weren't playing rugby, they'll be doing Pittsburgh Sports League, drinking a few drinks, playing their kickball. They just want that camaraderie, a little bit of banter, and a little bit, like you said, a little bit of drinking, but also some physical activity at the same time.
Well, going back, you haven't mentioned it yet, but I did play for 5 months in Bayonne in New Jersey.
Sure.
So just the logistics of being around New York City and having to go drink after a game was just ridiculous.
Right.
So with that club, there wasn't a...
So obviously this is, once you, just as a little backstory, you played Slippery Rock, you did your 5 years up there.
Right.
Then you took a job out in New York or New Jersey.
New York City.
Yeah.
As smart as I was about not having college loans, I made a stupid decision to get paid like $35,000 in New York City. Which if anybody ever wants to try to do that...
You're living on the street.
If anybody wants to ever try to do that, feel free. So I found this club, and it was across... I lived in Staten Island. That was the cheapest place in New York City you could live.
Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang territory.
For sure. I live right next to the guys now.
How is the RZA? Oh, dirty bastard, a good neighbor?
They were already out. They were in L.A. But across the bridge was Bayonne. It was south of Jersey City. I don't want to give them much time because I wasn't there long enough.
Yeah.
But anyway, it cost me $10 to cross the bridge for practice. Wow. So, I mean, So just imagine that. And then I'm going across another bridge to go to work that cost me $10. And I said I made $35,000.
Yeah.
So needless to say, I was in and out of there 5 months. But I had to take the Staten Island ferry,
But the Staten Island Ferry is free.
And it is, and you can drink on it.
Yeah,
which was
and it's
awesome.
actually ridiculously cheap drinks.
A Heineken was, last time I was there, it was $4. When I lived there, it was $3.
So we went there, and I think the guy must have made a mistake, but, like, I don't care what I drink.